Protect your DNA. BioPQQ can promote formation of new mitochondria. Infowarsstore.com.
And from 50 caliber rifles going to cartels to grenades and rocket launchers going to ISIS, we see ISIS destroys 1,400-year-old Christian heritage site. Satellite photos obtained by the Associated Press confirm what church leaders and Middle East preservationists had feared. The oldest Christian monastery in Iraq has been reduced to a field of rubble. Yet another victim of the Islamic State of Iraq and Syria's relentless destruction of heritage sites. Yeah, we see them going all over. They're burning down Christian villages, killing priests, and doing all this stuff. And we showed the clip many, many times. We have to play it again. But you guys have seen the clip of the grenades and all this stuff being airdropped to ISIS. They said it was supposed to go to the Kurds. We'll talk about the Kurds here in just 1 second. But however they got them, ISIS has them. And then a U.S. official was so bold to go on TV and say, well, a pallet of grenades isn't going to stop the U.S. military. Yes, I do agree, but it's going to kill a bunch of unarmed Christians at these World Heritage sites, tear down their monasteries and all their artifacts. But nobody seems to care about that. They just want to continue to bring people here to the United States. And I understand you have a good heart, you want to bring people here. That's not my issue. My issue is when you bring people here, it's a half measure that does not address the root cause why people are leaving Syria, Iraq, Yemen, Pakistan in the first place. You can bring everybody in the world to the United States of America, but it doesn't stop the foreign policy that is continuing to blow up churches, hospitals, wedding parties, giving guns to people who are running around, ripping out people's vital organs, making ISIS recruiting videos, lighting journalists on fire. We're aiding all these things, or should I say certain people in the government are aiding all these things. And then they say, we'll bring people here to make them feel better. And once again, yes, I understand if you have to worry about a drone coming up and blowing up your wedding party, you want to move, but we're not stopping the things that are going on. If you would stop the administration that's doing these things in the first place, people would be happy to stay home. People don't want to leave Syria. They don't want to leave Yemen and Pakistan. They want to stay safe in their own home countries, but they can't do that because of U.S. foreign policy. And as we were talking about the shipment that went to ISIS that was meant for the Kurds, now we see Kurdish news, or supposedly meant for the Kurds. Kurdish news agency reports Turkish military advance in Syria. AFN News reported late Tuesday night, Turkish troops and military equipment crossed the border and entered Syria. Local sources reported the movement and said that ISIS gangs in the area were all unresponsive to the activity of Turkish soldiers and that they just watched as they moved. In December, the Turkish president promised to eject the Islamic State. We have a quote here from Neil Cotter. He says, Turkey proves itself de facto ISIS ally by bombing YPG, main opponent of ISIS headquarters in Syria. So we've seen, I believe it was the Turkish prime minister was caught on the phone talking about how he wants to give arms to groups like Al-Qaeda. So we'll just have to see how things develop here. But there's really no simple solution to what's going on in the Middle East, or I guess any part of the world for that matter. But as I was saying before, if we stop the policies that are arming guys like ISIS and Al-Qaeda, if we stop blowing up people's churches and weddings, I think people would be a lot happier if we weren't there playing Team America World Police. Just throw us more of your tax dollars and we'll make it all go away. The people who live there know what's going on and they don't like it one bit. But it's not going on all around the world, at least not yet. We see people who are actually fighting back. In one group that's fighting back, the Christians, as we just said, they're tearing up, or ISIS is, they're tearing up Christian villages, monasteries, burning down the churches, slaughtering the priests in the streets. But now we see a Christian militia calling themselves God's Red Defenders. They're taking up arms to stop the spread of jihadism in the Philippines. It says members of a Christian group have taken up arms in a bid to stop the Philippines from becoming a new breeding ground for ISIS. It comes less than a month after the jihadi group released its first video of a terror training camp in the Filipino jungle. And just after we saw the ISIS militants attack Jakarta. So yeah, and I've run into people every now and then, they say that it's unchristian to own a firearm or just to have self-defense in general. And to that I say, Christ told his followers to go and buy a sword, not to have a preemptive offensive violence, but he said, hey, go out and buy your sword. He actually said, sell your cloak and buy a sword if you do not have any other means to get one, which he was saying being armed. Once again, not saying go have proactive violence, but have a means to defend yourself. Also, we see in the Old Testament, technically this is talking about Jews because Christ wasn't born yet, but they talk about King David and King Saul. Saul killed thousands and David killed tens of thousands. in self-defense. Guys, many guys like Samson, many other people as well, but they don't want to talk about that. They just want to tell you that you're supposed to be a weak victim and let people step all over you. No, there's a time for peace and there's a time for war. If somebody comes to your front door saying that they're going to kill you, rape your daughter, burn down your church, yes, you do have the right to defend yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that. And somebody who took this advice to heart, a good Samaritan, a pizza man, stopped an armed robber when he came into his vicinity.
Matthew Wilhite, the son of a law enforcement officer, just happened to be prepared for an incident that would affect many lives.
We walked up, the security was wrestling with this guy.
He just didn't know it yet. Wilhite had walked into an armed robbery at the Fifth Avenue Mall. Police say the suspect was trying to steal expensive designer jeans. A security guard tried to stop him, and APD says the suspect pulled a gun.
All of a sudden, he's screaming, gun, gun, gun.
That's when Matthew Wilhite pulled his .45 caliber and pointed it at the gunman.
Now let's talk about the truth. Some people say you can't handle the truth, and I guess one of the people that's concerned about this is Senator Marco Rubio. Senator Marco Rubio plans to deploy truth squads in 3 of the earliest voting states to mitigate the effects of recent attacks against him. Now, one of the attacks was done by Jeb Bush, who made fun of Rubio's height, which is, completely ridiculous. But I guess he's concerned, Rubio is, that people just won't get him. It reminds me of the Obama Truth Squad we saw just a few years ago, and here's a look at that.
We want to keep this campaign focused on issues. We don't want people to get distracted, and Missourians don't want to be distracted by these divisive character attacks. So we're here to respond to any character attacks, to set the record straight.
Whether it is directly attributable to the campaign or to one of the soft money operations, if they're not going to tell the truth, then somebody's got to step up and say, wait a minute, that's not true, this is the truth.
And I wish we had a truth squad today that went around telling people about all Barack Obama's empty campaign promises. You guys recall when he told the woman that he would buy her a house and she wouldn't have to work anymore. And then filmmaker Joel Gilbert talked to her years later and said, hey, did you ever get that house? She's like, no, I didn't get that house. Of course she didn't get the house. He said, I'm not going to increase your taxes. If you like your doctor, you can keep your doctor, on and on and on. Raising the debt limit does not raise the debt, which I guess is technically true. It just allows for the debt to be raised, but that's neither here nor there. Let's go on to our final story for the evening before we go on to more special reports. Keep in mind that we have Louis Farrakhan, the exclusive interview that you will not see anyplace else, as well as David Knight's breakdown of the latest shenanigans at the BLM. Now, you guys recall the Flint water crisis in Flint, Michigan, and now the governor has come out and apologized for this, and he has some things to say. He said, I'm sorry and I will fix it, Snyder said near the opening of his 50-minute speech directly addressing the residents of Flint. You did not create this crisis, and you do not deserve this. Now, many people have come out and spoken out about this. We've seen National Guard giving people bottled water on the scene. So yes, it is a big deal. And actually, we have Leanne McAdoo, who's out on the scene. You guys stay tuned for all those special reports she will be filing as she's trying to get to the bottom of the situation and talk to the residents right there in Flint, Michigan. Now, stay tuned. We'll be back right after this break with David's breakdown of the BLM in the exclusive interview with Louis Farrakhan.
You traitors claiming I'm a Ruski agent, say it to my face and I'll break your nose. I'm sick of it. I will stomp your head in the ground, you traitorous maggots. While we go under Obamacare, North American Union, conquered by European banks, announcing our kids don't belong to us, total bondage, total surveillance, and you want to shoot your mouth off about me being a Ruski agent, I will stomp your head in the ground.
Never water yourself down just because someone can't handle you at 100 proof. It's the Alex Jones Show, because there's a war on for your mind.
I wish we could go back to the days, I'm telling you, of just getting my satisfaction out in the street. You pick a sword or something else, you're going out in the street. I'm not kidding, you cowardly scum. Clean, pure drinking water. You can't survive without it. But where do you get it? Alexa Pure Pro is a brand new, groundbreaking, gravity-fed water filtration system that is like no other. The Alexa Pure Pro transforms water from virtually any fresh source into clean, healthy drinking water, pairing the unprecedented superfiltration power of an all-new gravity block core with a hybrid chromatic shell. It removes up to 99.999% of impurities, including bacteria, viruses, fluoride, disinfectants, volatile organic contaminants, and hormones. Filter capacity up to 5,000 gallons. Stainless steel construction. Easy assembly. Low maintenance. Replacement filters are simple to install. And now, as part of an exclusive limited time introductory offer, you can save $20 off the retail price and get free shipping. This is a limited time offer, so order your unit today and receive free shipping and $20 off. Go to InfoWarsStore.com or call 888-253-3139.